If you are standing in front of a river like I do in the video, no matter what type of bait you use, even if you walk along the riverbank and cast all day long, normally you won't get a single bite. Then you pack up the gears and head home. This might not be a particularly enjoyable fishing day, but for me or any other local anglers like me, it's just another ordinary day. Yeah, on rare occasions, you might get lucky and feel a bite, or that bite might even bring you a decent fish. But deeply in your heart, you know it's just luck. Sure, you feel happy about it, but at the same time, you start to wonder when the next lucky moment will come again. Yet, the way I see it, lure fishing is about efficiency. A little bit of luck within certainty, but not pure luck. There are many reasons for that, but if I had to pick the two biggest rats in the room, they would be geography and human activity. For the geographical factor, predatory species in East Asia water systems are not abundant and they are widely scattered. Besides this, by human factor, I mean overfishing, but I don't want to talk about any of those reasons in today's video. Of course, alternatively, you could choose a fish pond to enjoy some bass fishing hours, or drive a few hours to a specific spot where the target fish are. After all, the most important thing in fishing is to find the fish, and I fully agree with that. But what if I simply don't have the time to spend a whole day fishing, and instead just want to enjoy 1 or 2 hours of fun during a work break, and still manage to catch a few? Is that possible? To answer that question, you need to consider two things. Where are they, and are they willing to take the bait? Although the shallow water can do some help, but it is always murky, so we can't fish by sight. Under these conditions, without deep water to hide in, predatory fish will mostly choose areas with overhead cover, like trees and bridges. Okay, the best bet is under the bridge. Get it? Then we need to have a basic understanding of local target species. Those so-called game fish around here, especially during summer, are more willing to feed at two specific times, sunrise and sunset, and those windows are very short, normally less than 30 minutes. That is their dinner time. But right now it's just past noon. Because of the hot weather, some bait fish are forced to swim into nearby shaded water areas under the bridges, just like snacks being delivered right to your doorstep. No fish can resist that temptation. A spoon is always an excellent choice to start with, because it's shiny and wobbles. All you need to do is steady retrieve. You can also use the stop and go motion to let it fall naturally. The first few casts are important. Try not to hit anything before the water that can possibly spook the fish. After searching around each corner and the space between them, it's time to let it sink a few more seconds and searching the deep water areas. If you don't feel a single bite, it's time to move to another spot. But I felt a subtle twitch in the middle section. Don't know if it was a bite, so I decided to switch to a slow sinking crankbait, which stays in the water longer and has a more noticeable wobbling action. Should trigger more bites. But after a few casts, no more bites came. Then it's time to move on. The second bridge, kinda a bit more familiar to me because I caught a sea bass here last year. But this year, I haven't fished this spot yet. The water level looks much lower, Not sure if you can see it on the screen. Not far ahead of me, there is a retaining wall underwater running across. This kind of structure is a favorite hiding spot for predatory fish. It gives them cover from threats in the sky and also allows them to ambush some passing careless baitfish. Even if I don't hook up any fish here today, just spotting this underwater feature is actually more valuable than catching a fish itself. Now I know I can let my bait stay for a few extra seconds when passing near this structure, which can significantly increase the chance of getting hit by a fish. As always, I started with a spoon, then switched to a walking bait. Let it floating a few more seconds above the underwater wall. Unfortunately, not a single fish was willing to come up and say hi. So, to the next bridge we go. Then, I rode along the riverside road until the third spot. This one is significantly lower than the previous ones, which is a good sign for fish. But the bad news is I need to use a backhand side cast to my right, and also keep the trajectory of my bait as flat as possible. Otherwise, I might hit the underside of the bridge or splash straight into the water and spook the fish. That might not sound difficult, but for someone who only made his first overhead cast last summer, it's a bit of a challenge. I made a few casts with no response, but suddenly I heard some splashing sounds from the opposite bank. It's a pretty distinctive sound, and because of it, I am almost certain our target fish was there. Specifically, a freshwater predatory species called topmouth coulter, along with a few similar subspecies. Unlike bass, they aren't willing to feed all day long, but it seems I've stumbled upon their snack time. So at this moment, any topwater bait would be a good choice. I had just switched over from the other side and still had a spoon tied on, so I decided to give it a try. That distinctive sound is actually caused by their unique feeding habits. Because of their nearly vertical jaw opening and the lack of teeth, they rely on a sudden upward rush and use a suction motion to pull baitfish into their mouth. So the noise is very much like the sound you make when you suck up the last sip of your soda through a straw. Whoa. They can grow to an impressive size, even close to 4 feet. My personal record is about a bit shy of 2 feet. After a few casts with no bite, I switched to a mini jig head with this tailless soft plastic. This combo has a better presentation on the falling motion, which suits any fish that strikes from below. A few more casts, still nothing, but the feeding sounds kept getting more and more. I immediately switched to this chrome-finished walking bait. Okay, the trial is over. I am sending my best killer to finish the job. That was exactly what was going through my mind at that moment. After just a few casts, I got this.
Ooh.
And this.
Oh, that's a bite. That's a bite.
Since both strikes came along the same line, I kept casting in that direction. Just when I thought I was about to catch one, there was almost no action at all after that. I guess maybe I spooked them, or their snack time has been over. Then I thought that might be it for today.
Got one. Got one.
Just a few minutes later, it was already pouring rain, the perfect ending to today's fishing trip.
Ooh.
Wow, what a day. I guess that's the fun of fishing, that even long after, I will certainly recall a sweltering summer afternoon when I hooked up not just a fish, but the fish I was aiming for. Even though it wasn't a big fish by any means, it was a fish that brought back some good memories. But, yes, there is always a but in every story. Is there a more pleasant, or should I say more enjoyable way of fishing? One where you don't need to hunt for bridges, don't need to crouch underneath into tight spaces for hours. How about just standing by the water, casting, enjoying the view, and of course, most importantly, feeling that pull at the rod tip that brings a smile to my face. I guess we will have to leave that question for the next video. Thanks for watching, and bye bye.